Okay, so I said I said I was gonna do voice notes, but I think I prefer to make a video instead. Because I'm obviously a YouTuber, and you need to see my face. Yeah. So this is the book. Obviously, it's gonna be reversed. It's called The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or Tolle. I'm not sure. Yeah. So basically, the book is a guide to spiritual enlightenment. That's literally the title, and the blurb, basically, in essence, is saying that to find self-centeredness, you need to destroy your ego. And the first chapter that I've read, it's all basically like in Q&A form, like it's literally question and answer, because the person who wrote it is a professor, and from like questions from his students, from other people he knows in his real life, from questions that he's asked himself and found answers to later. The first chapter that I've read talks about silencing your thoughts, and when you posted that thing, let me try and remember what it was saying. Once you're traumatized, every conversation is you trying to overanalyze someone's behavior, what someone's saying, and every small like little minuscule thing that they didn't even realize, because you're trying to find danger. So the best way to be able to minimize looking out for danger is to not think at all, if that makes sense. It's gonna sound crazy in the beginning, because when I first started reading it, I was like, this, like, what do you mean? What do you mean silence your thoughts? But man was really trying to say that you can actually just turn off your brain sometimes. Just in general, not even like in conversation with people. It's basically the act of being present. We've kind of had conversations like this, but the way that he describes it is like, our brain is a tool. Of course, it's a muscle, but it's also a tool. When you finish a task, say you're trying to nail a nail into wood, right? Once you're finished with the hammer, you hammer it, and then you put it away. And then you pick it up again when you need it. And that's the way that he was trying to say we should use our brains. We should use it when we need it, and once we're done, put it away. So in everyday life, we don't always have to be thinking, because the more we think when we don't need to, the more we are controlled by our minds, and not our minds, well, not us controlling our minds. Does that make sense? Our minds are controlling us over us controlling our minds. Because most of us, especially you and I, suffer highly from like anxious overthinking periods of time. And it's hard to stop thinking, it's hard to pause, and it's hard to focus on real time, you know? That's literally just an example of our brains controlling us and not the other way around. And using our brains as if it were our arms or our legs, and picking it up when we need to and putting it down when we don't need it, you know? Yeah, I'm just gonna center myself because the sun came up. Yeah, so in times where we don't need our brain, we can just decide to shut it off. And saying that is way easier than actually doing it, because I did try to do it. And it's basically like meditation, but at all times. The ability to actually just silence the voice. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm thinking, I think of a voice. Like, I'm talking to myself, but in my brain. And to be able to shut that off completely is hard. Like, it's very hard. Like, it's very, very hard, because things will just slip in. Like, you'll literally just look to the side and look at a white wall and think of, wow, like, paint. And, you know, other things will just come into your mind the more you interact with the world. But once you find the ability to just be and not have to think, like to just literally just be, to sit here, to look at the window, to look at the plant, to look at the trees, to look at the buildings, and that's it, to just look at them. It's like a kind of freeing feeling. Maybe to just like focus on your breathing, or just focus on how it makes you feel, but not thinking about it. You know, you can feel without thinking. So yeah, he was saying like to be able to do that is to find like self-centeredness and inner peace. Because once you can turn it off and on, you're in control, you know. So I feel like that would be a great way to combat overthinking when it comes to like meeting new people, because instead of focusing on your thoughts, your inner thoughts, you're focusing what the person is saying. Like you're listening to what they're saying, like it's turning off this and putting on these, as if it were a switch and as if it were a tool. Putting the hammer down to go and get the screwdriver, you know? And it is hard, like it is very hard. It's a skill that takes time to learn. But I do definitely recommend this book so far. It's been very helpful with me feeling terrible lately. And that, obviously, a lot of it comes from overthinking and being not here. I'm away with myself, I'm away from my body, and I'm away from the present time, the present moment, because I'm thinking about the past or thinking about the future. So, yeah, I hope some of that helped.